Welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim, and in this episode I'd like to speak about other countries. Yes, other countries. You know, I really like to see Caseback Watches as some sort of international project or international platform, and Google Analytics or YouTube Analytics confirms this, that the viewers here on the channel come from all over the world, and I really like this. And I've made over the years before Caseback Watches some experiences, or to be frank, a lot of experiences with people from other countries. And there are some funny anecdotes or observations now in the treasure box here. And maybe you find it helpful or only entertaining to follow me through the countries I have made experiences with. And maybe you find yourself in those observations, maybe not. Because we all know this is by no means representative, right? Those are very own observations from me and colored with my own background, and so by no means representative. Okay, I will go through the countries in alphabetic order, and so let's begin. Very trustful or trustworthy or both, I don't know, because my experience was I was contacted I think 2 or 3 times by people from Australia who wanted to buy watches from me. I've advertised on Chrono24, and they were very hassle-free. Give me your bank account, I'll pass the money and then put it in the parcel. Choose the cheapest parcel you find, son, because I don't want to pay the extra fee for the transport. You don't need no insurance. Our post system works. Just send it. Will take 3 weeks, but just send the watch to Australia. And then I learned that you can sell watches to Australia under 1,000 US Australian dollars without any customs. And this is great. Generally, the limits are way lower. And so if you want to sell a watch on Chrono, let's say, and then you have a client from Australia, this is not a deal breaker, absolutely not. You can ship there easily a watch with a worth of, let's say, 800 Aussie dollars, no problem. And by the way, this is not my observation, but I've heard from several people that it's very hassle-free to deal with a certain individual from Australia, lives in Brisbane. And when he's not on his channel, then he is a very reasonable and trustworthy person. But this is not my experience. I've never done business with him, but other people told me this. Shy first, little shy. They price, condition, and there's this bias that they don't speak or don't write English. Not true. If they want the Speedmaster from you, they write you English. But the individual I was in contact with was a little bit grumpy because he was the victim of some sort of cheat, and he lost several thousand euros, and then he was a little bit grumpy and wanted extra warranties and everything. And he Googled me, and then he found my Instagram profile, and then he saw that I have a deep passion for Django Reinhardt and red wine, or wine in general, French wine especially. And then he changed 100%, and he said to me, you cannot be a bad person. And then he shipped, then he sent the money right in my account, and wasn't a problem anymore. Very trustful, can be very trustful, can be very trustworthy, but my experience, very picky when it comes to box and papers. He wants the papers. Even if you have this watch, the 350 euro watch, and then he asks you for the papers. He wants the papers, or he wants some sort of confirmation that it's real, that's legit. And I've explained it several times. Man, it makes no sense to fake a 300 euro watch with that amount of detail. I mean, here you can see the see-through case, you can see the movement, everything. It would be more pricey to produce a fake with this amount of details than the actual watch. And so it would be an absurd form of crime. And then he says to you, yeah, interesting, but I want the papers. And sometimes I go to we went to the watchmaker here, and he gave me some sort of certificate that the watch is legit. On the other hand, you can make, if you are in Germany, you can, and the other guy sees that you are in his comfort zone, that you are a little bit equal, then he pays with PayPal family and friends under some circumstances, or with direct bank transfer. Then they are very trustworthy and trustful, and this is of course then a pleasure. And of course I've met some German buyers and sellers in bars or cafes, in public, so to speak, and they came always with their wives or their children, and the wives only were a little bit, and then he showed the wife, honey, what do you think about the watch? Should I buy this watch? And then the wife, and then he, and then you have this little theater in front of you. Very confident, writes you in Italian, writes you on Chrono 24 in Italian. And I mean, this is perfectly reasonable. You don't speak Italian? Why not? I mean, this is a very cultivated and clear language. The foundation is Latin, so why do you not speak Italian? And then you say, because I don't do. And then you write back, please write in English. And then he writes in English. And then they are very, my experiences are that they are very friendly. Then they're very normal, very reasonable. And except their, let's say, assessment of damages. They're a little bit special. Then the description says, perfetto, everything perfect. And then you see the big scratch on the image. And you think, what's this? This is not perfect. And there is a saying in Italy, and a tailor explained this to me, l'errore fa l'effetto, l'errore fa l'effetto. This means the error makes the effect. So if your garment is a little bit out of place, this cuff is a little bit shorter than the other, then this makes the effect. As a German citizen, I don't know if I should follow this view, but it has its charm. And by the way, the reputation of the Italian the Post is not very good. I've heard this several times, but I ship watches to Rome, Naples, and Milano. What's Milano in English? I don't know. Milano. Yeah, this was without any problems. And you can find in Italy excellent vintage watch dealers, because the Italians, they have a tendency to finer watches. You can also see this here in our Italian community. There you can see those older gentlemen, not super fancy dressed, but normal dressed with khakis and shirt. And then you see in vintage, what was it? A Cartier Santos. A gentleman, he was with a Cartier Santos. And he was not very posh, but this looked very organic on his wrist. It was a great watch and overall a good look. And so if you are in the watch world, then Italy is definitely on the map, so to speak. Emmanuel, if you are in Europe and you are older than, let's say, 35, then with the name Emmanuel you think of a certain film series. It was a soft porn series from the 60s and 70s. I mean, by today's standards, this is far away from modern porn. And this series was directed by, I've forgotten the name of the director, because it's very important to know the director of soft porno movies. But the title was Emmanuel, and then Emmanuel in Africa, Emmanuel in Paris, and so on and so on and so on. And so when I heard that a woman with the name Emmanuel wanted to buy my Jaeger LeCoultre Futurematic on Chrono 24, I was immediately, okay, interesting. And then I've Googled her for business reason, and found a very sweet picture with freckles and brown eyes, and I thought, wow. I didn't realize that this image was 20 or 25 years old. And then, for business reasons, I flirted a little bit with her in our chat, Chrono 24. And I didn't realize, of course, that I'm flirting with a 60-year-old woman. And I think she liked that. But then she negotiated like she wanted to buy a tank from me or battle cruiser or something super big, and with all sorts of drama. She interrupted contact. She went away for a few days. Then she came back, and that was terrible, really terrible. But then we had an agreement. I've shipped the watch to Brussels, and then it was a super tiny malfunction or defect. I think the crystal was a little bit broken, plexi, vintage. 60 years old crystal. And I partially refund, but then she called me. She called me at home. She called me in a restaurant and everything. And my guess is that she wanted to go on with our conversation, but my family wasn't exactly happy about that conversation, and so I had to stop it. But normal. I mean this in a good way, but from my perspective, I mean, I know the country pretty well, and from my perspective, they are pretty normal. I've told my girlfriend, she's origins from Brazil, and I told her, sometimes I think the Portuguese are the Germans from the Iberian Peninsula, because the temper is very equal. I mean, most German people are not super loud and not super quiet. I mean, there are regions in daily life where they are very different, German and Portuguese, but watch dealers from Portugal or watch people from Portugal, normal, in a good way. Yeah, very normal. Sweden. A little bit shy in the beginning. Box, papers, price, and then, yeah, agreement. And then they pay in 3 seconds with their credit cards. Post delivers the parcel in 4 seconds up to Sweden. And you think, wow, this was quick, job done. And then they write you emails, and then they want to know more about the history of the timepiece. Really beautiful watch. Can you give me more information, Tim, about the history of this timepiece? And then I thought, wouldn't it be better to ask this in the first place before you purchased the watch, actually? But I think the thinking behind this is the business is out of the way now. Now we can have a serious discussion about the inner values of the timepiece, the connotation, the history, the heritage. But it's a nice experience to see the tracking of the North Post. It's not like DHL in Germany. Tuk. Switzerland, yeah, impossible to make business with Switzerland. If you want to sell something to Switzerland, forget it. Will not happen, because the customs are there beyond crazy. So I wasn't so happy that when I was contacted by a woman from Switzerland, Oris Alarm, Chrono 24, she wanted to purchase the watch, and I said, no, very sorry, but the customs are beyond crazy. And she told me, yes, but I have this little post box in your country. There's a border between Germany and Switzerland, and you can deliver, please, the watch to that post box. And then I will empty the post box. I do this regularly, and then I put the things in my bags, in my pockets, on my wrists. Then I drive home through customs, and that's it. Nothing to declare. And so I thought, okay, she want to smuggle in the watch in her own country. And so I shipped the watch to the post box, and then I've Googled, of course, the lady for business reason, and found out she was I have to be careful now. She was a high official or very high on a board in a company owned by the state for infrastructure. And then I thought, all right, she makes good money there, but paying customs? No. We would drive to Germany with a dodgy post box, and we grab our watch and smuggle it in the country. And the worth of the watch was 400 or something like that. Not very high. But this was my only experience with people from Switzerland. Armand, the watch guy, by the way, is a Swiss citizen. He lives in England now, I think, but is a Swiss citizen. I sold one watch to a Turkish gentleman, and hell of a negotiation. This is a cliche I saw. This was really tough. Best price and everything. And I said, best price for me is the highest. What do you want? And then he turned pretty normal. And then we had an agreement. And then Turkey, same problem. We have borders between us. We have customs between us. And so I said, we have to stop here. This makes no sense. It's too much hassle for this little watch. And then, of course, he had a relative in Germany. We have a huge Turkish community in my hometown, Hamburg, as well. And believe it or not, his aunt was here in the neighborhood. She lived here in the neighborhood. And so this was the first watch I delivered myself. And yeah, she was very, very nice. Offered me tea. And she didn't know nothing about watches. She didn't open the parcel. We had a 3-minute conversation about the weather and the traffic. And this was it. Job done. And so, yeah, easy thing for me. I've sold, I think, 3 vintage Omegas to the United Kingdom, and this was one Oris, the Oris pointer date, went to United Kingdom as well. And this was very easy every time, very easy, very friendly people, very polite and patient. I had this DHL drama with a watch, Omega Genève. They've lost the watch in front of the house in the United Kingdom. The client saw the van, but the van didn't deliver anything, and then the tracking said parcel lost. And yeah, and then we have a big drama. And then I said to the buyer, look, I can refund you. And then I tried to get my money back from DHL, and he said, no, I want the watch, let's make some steam. And I wait, and he waited 12 weeks, and then the parcel showed up in Germany 12 weeks later. 12 weeks later, after letters from attorneys, and it was drama, showed up, and I went to that post office, saw my parcel in the hands of this grumpy employee, and I said, well, great, you have found the parcel. And then he said, yeah, you have to pay for the delivery. And I told him, what? I've paid for the delivery to United Kingdom. The address is correct. And now I have to pay it twice? And he said, yes. And then I paid twice. I paid the delivery from the United Kingdom to Germany. And then he didn't give me my parcel. He said, and now import duty. And I said to him, are you out of your mind? Import duty, customs? There are no customs between England and Germany. And he said, I don't know, but here stands, client has to pay import duties. And then I filed some sort of complaint to a federal agency of postal blah, 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 and received back my money. It was such an insanity. Very friendly, very polite, always a hi, how are you, and some lines of nice chat there. I'll come back to you later because I have to bring the children in the school now. And sometimes unaware of customs, but to be fair, the first watch I've sold was to the United States, and I wasn't aware of customs as well. And I sold the watch, and then I realized, oh no, this drama, the forms you have to fill out, and the risk in it, and oh no, and then I refunded the guy. And some watch buyers from America, they are not aware of customs, or that customs are a huge problem. And if you tell them, then they want the solution. They want a solution then. They're positive thinking people, they want this problem solved then. And the solution is Colin from Ireland or another relative in Europe. And then they try to convince Colin that he makes the business with me, and then Colin can ship the watch as a gift to the United States, which is illegal. Because the limit is $100, you can only ship a watch to the United States as a gift when the worth, including the shipping, is under $100. And Colin knows this, and so he refused every time to be a part of this smuggling transaction, and so I've never sold a watch to the United States. Yeah, reasons are customs. But little background information here, people from the United States are nearly 30% of the audience of Caseback watches. Yeah. And then I think United Kingdom with 15, if I recall correctly, and then the rest of the world. And the reason for this is, of course, that I say vintage in such smooth manner that they... No, it was a joke. Yeah, several reasons, I think. First, big country, so you have a lot of watch people in the United States, and so every watch channel on YouTube has a large viewership in America. And the second maybe is that YouTube is an American company. And so this can be, and some other reasons. I hope you don't watch this only for statistic reasons, this channel, right? Okay, I hope you enjoyed my observations about other nationalities and countries. And again, this is of course not representative. Those are anecdotes I've made nothing up here. This was the entire truth. And disclaimer number 2, I am not a watch dealer. Sometimes people ask me, do you have something new for sale? And this can be, yes, but I'm not a watch dealer. I don't want to make money with selling watches. I'm a bad flipper, I think. And to be honest, I try to make a little profit with any watch. I try this because from time to time you lose money with a watch. This is pretty normal, and so at the end I want to go out plus minus zero at least, and so this is important for me. But I'm not a dealer, and if you ask me, do you have such a model in stock right now, this makes no sense because I don't have any stock. Okay, and that's all. If you want, please join me on Instagram. I show their watches, but also other topics I find interesting. And now let me thank you very much for your attention, and maybe until next time. Welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim, and in this episode I want to speak about other countries.